Okay, then we will move on to the yearly report from our school resource officer.
Good evening. I'm here with Officer Marshall, actually assisting her tonight. She's going to give you a brief overview of what the School Resource Officer program has done the last year, and then spend a little bit of time talking about the new program they started at the beginning of the year at the middle school grade. So I'll hand these out. She does have one request. She needs the workbooks back for her kids.
I apologize. Those are what I could put together this afternoon. But that's kind of what we started with, and I'll actually come back to that. And also, along with what you're receiving, I put in there a copy of my city report, the School Resource Officer annual report, so you can kind of see what I included for the city. And then underneath that is basically the calls for service that were within the school district that I handled, and those are broken down by semester. And then there was also in some of those little packets just a fun picture that actually a student had sent me that last week, and so I thought I would include that as something fun for this evening. A brief explanation of that is occasionally on the weekends I do pick up a patrol shift here and there. That was last fall during homecoming. I was working patrol before I went to work at the homecoming dance. Happened to see those young ladies, so they wanted their picture taken. I kind of forgot about it until last week when one of them emailed it to my school email and said, "I thought you'd get a chuckle out of this," and so it was kind of cute.
Is there a story to the no shoes?
Just that they were in the park taking their homecoming pictures. So that just shows, I do have a rapport with some of the students, and it's not all, that they're fearful or anything like that. And it really kind of touched my heart when she sent it to me to show that, it is fun sometimes too. I'm not going to go over my annual report a whole lot. I just had a couple things I wanted to add to that. First off is our truancy numbers. Mr. Reinhardt handles the truancies and has told me since the start of the school resource officer, the truancy numbers have decreased by 20%. So that was, I think, one of the goals of the school resource officer to help with those numbers as well. Last week, I had the opportunity to go to the Wisconsin School Resource Officers Conference. I do that every year, but one of the things that I thought was really interesting and I really liked and got some different input and some thoughts that we've talked about at the police department was I had the opportunity to listen to the police chief, school resource officer, and school principal from the Marinette High School. Back in November, they had the young man that took the classroom hostage. And they talked about, some things that, we didn't think about this. And if you, to be prepared, these are some extra things you may want to think about. And so I brought that back to the PD, and we actually talked about some of those things and plan on having some additional discussions in regards to that. But definitely very interesting to hear from them. I guess the next thing I just have is the GREAT program. In the past, I have always taught the DARE to the 5th grade students. And it wasn't all of the 5th grade students, it was just the schools inside the city of Toma. The chief had come with the idea of let's look at the GREAT program. And I know some of you were at that informational meeting. That was a while ago, but I can't even remember. But we sat down and we kind of talked about that. One of the reasons Chief Revels was interested in the GREAT program is, first of all, we were getting into the middle school and we're getting more students. And we weren't so sure that the elementary school students were retaining what they were learning. So now we're in the middle school. The GREAT program also has several components to it. There is an elementary program, there's the middle school component, there's a family component, and there's also a summer component. Our goal is eventually to maybe move into that family component and get some families on board with some additional activities in the evening. We had the opportunity, the Boys and Girls Club approached us, which was really great. Dina Protz has since moved to Toma and worked with the Boys and Girls Club in La Crosse and was familiar with the summer component. So she approached us and said, let's get on board, let's put together a summer component. So that is in the works for this summer. I believe our dates were set for August 8th through 12th. It's like the week after the summer pack program. So that is something that we're working on doing in conjunction with the Boys and Girls Club and the school district. So that is where we're at right now.
So we gotta get a picture of this on camera for people. Yeah,
Zooming in.
we can zoom in. Tell me when you're done. Okay. Did you out there see that? It's says a lot.
Just kind of give you an idea, I don't know if you hear this kind of feedback, but I was over at Miller a few days ago picking up my kids, and a Toma squad car drove by. And as the car drove by, 4 or 5 of the kids started chasing it, screaming your name, and how disappointed they were when another officer got out of the car. But, the rapport you're building with these kids is helping diminish their fear of the police, and I think making them much more open to talking to the police officers, and that helps reduce a lot of the problems. Looking at the numbers, the one that was most impressive to me is batteries. And I don't know how that's really defined. I'm assuming it just means some type of physical conflict between the students. But
Injuries, yeah.
yep. So 29 last year, 16 this year. I mean, that's, if I read that number right. And
Are you looking at disorderly conduct?
disorderly conduct. That's what I was
Disorderly
referring
conduct,
to.
yes.
Yeah, 29 to I think it was 16. That's definitely impressive, and I think that speaks to just having the presence and having someone that can help mediate and discuss things with them. I know the administration does a great job with it too, but thank you.
I got to tell you, no matter where I go out in public, I always have someone, there's Officer Marshall, or, they're talking to me, and I hear the parents say, who is that? And they're explaining, how it is that they know me, or I'm getting a hug, or whatever. So, yeah, it's out there.
I think the visibility is just key, that you can have that rapport and get to know the kids and allay their fears of the police. I'm sure Mr. Reinhardt appreciates all of that too. It has to help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Officer Marshall, you want these back, correct?
I just need the workbooks that are inside. I didn't know if anybody wanted to look at the middle school workbook. That's what
I can send them back to you tomorrow in the mail.
Okay.
the workbook inside with the white cover is what I'm currently teaching at the middle school. There's actually 13 lessons. I'm on lesson number 7. So.
And you only have one picture?
There's a few more floating around. I only have a couple of those big ones. I was having printer issues.
Here, your files.
Thank you very much.